So sing object of Terry's. Just organize your speech and develop a clear message with appropriate transitions and definite opening, body, and conclusion. And the title of my speech is right here. I apologize.
The suspense is killing us.
The name of my speech is Who Am I Today? Pooh. That's the one you poo in her hand.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters and guests. And Pooh is so sorry. Pooh took the back seat. I could have given it to you, but he apologizes. As I was thinking about this is actually my first speech, so give me even more of a break. But I was thinking about this actually back in January. It was my birthday, and I was beginning to think about my first speech, and I was remembering and realizing it had been 40 years ago when I was a little girl, and I was sitting on my back porch, and I had this little rocking chair, and I remember sitting there, and I was looking at Pooh, and the Pooh at that time was a lot older and bedraggled, and he has not made it in 45 years. So this is my son's Pooh. And I remember looking at him, and it was my 5th birthday, and saying, Pooh, who are we today now that we're 5? Are we different than we were when we were 4? And I remember that like it was yesterday. And that's the kind of kid I was. I realize now not all kids do that, and I'm still doing that. Who am I today? Who am I? I was born in a blizzard in Baltimore, and my dad was in his residency, and he quickly, after having an OB residency and having to drive in the middle of the night in a blizzard with a car that had no floor, moved to South Florida with the Air Force happily. So I grew up in South Florida from age 6 months on. I got glasses when I was a year and a half old. I had 2 eye surgeries. I was the kid with glasses, and I had a foot brace, I had foot problems, and I had to wear saddle Oxfords because they had the special arch support. So I couldn't run very fast. I was a good student. I loved to read and play with my friends. I also loved sports. And I played t-ball. Back then, this was before Title IX, that was the only sports little girls could play. And just how good I was, I struck out at t-ball. I struck out. For 3 years, because I loved it. I kept coming back. And I still remember, like yesterday, sitting in the outfield with my glove in front of my face going, wow, this is really cool. You can see through the holes. My glasses were broken this way. The idea that I'd actually catch the ball and deflect it was not even in my grasp. Then I played volleyball. I think I was 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Had to play a sport at my school. Served the ball over and over into the net every time. 3 years I did this. One of the players on my team was Nan Nicholas, Jack Nicholas's daughter. She went to University of Georgia on a volleyball scholarship. Every time I came up to the, to serve, oh, there she is again. And those were critical moments in my life looking back. It was torture, it was trauma. I loved sports, and I was terrible. But I had this mother. And my mother, I jokingly call her Saint Anne, she said, Midgie, now you understand what other people go through when they're in school. Sometimes they don't know everything. Those things come so easily to you, but not to them. Now you can understand. And having had that experience, the glasses, the shoe problems, the running problems, the sports, I developed this empathy for other people. And always an appreciation for the underdog. I wanted to include people, to help people, never to see anybody left out or ridiculed in any way. In fact, every now and then if my children come out with something, I get so upset, so upset. And I learned not to take myself so seriously. I learned to laugh at myself. My mother always said, if you're laughing at yourself, folks are laughing with you, not at you. So then I would get to PE in 10th grade, and I hadn't taken PE. I had gone to a smaller school, and I still remember playing, football. And I was, this was girls with football. And so it was tag or, the flag football or whatever. And I remember it being out there, come on. And I got everybody laughing, and I made it so much fun. I was still not very good, but everybody suddenly wanted me on their team because I was fun. And I realized then it didn't matter so much if I was good, as long as we had fun. I came to North Carolina, where my dad was born. My dad's from the mountains, from Murphy, and I went to Wake Forest. I majored in English and history. I wanted to understand people on a deeper level. That was the English part, and I wanted to read. And the history came from my mother. She was a history teacher, and all my life she was telling me stories about the olden days. We'd drive these long trips from South Florida to North Carolina, and I remember late at night she's going on and on about Thomas Jefferson and George Washington and Abe Lincoln, and I'd say, tell me more, Mommy, tell me about the olden days. Tell me about when you were little, the olden days. I get that also. So then I taught high school English for all of 1 year, and I quickly retired. I spent all my time counseling my students after school. I wasn't getting any planning done, and I didn't like discipline, but I just loved talking to the kids and helping them with their problems. So I went back and got my master's in social work at Chapel Hill, Tar Heels. And it's there that I met my husband. He was a dental student at Carolina, but unfortunately he's a Duke fan. Yes, that's been very traumatic in my house. We were a house divided. In fact, the other day, my one daughter created a whole Carolina corner to watch the game, and my other one had the Duke pennant, and my sweet little boy, the third child, had on a white shirt. He said, I'm wearing white because I'd be pulling for both. While I was in social work school, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer, and this was probably the pivotal event in my life. We had been so close. I was an only child. My brother came when I was 10. And my dad, being an OB, was busy working all the time. So my mother was like my best friend. And we kind of raised my brother together. She's been gone 17 years now. But her wisdom, over and over, I jokingly refer to her, like I mentioned earlier, as St. Anne. And I quote her over and over, and you just realize what an impact someone's had on your life, and every day, continually. After she died, I became a hospice social worker and grief counselor because I wanted to help other folks in the same situation. My daughter Ann came in 2001, though. I realized it was such emotional work, I wouldn't have the energy to give her. So I took off and I became a stay-at-home mother, and I kept thinking I was going to go back to work, and I kept having kids. So I now have an 11-year-old daughter Ann, and a 9-year-old Holly, and my 5-year-old, almost 6-year-old son Cam. And during the time of raising these children, I was active volunteering with the Junior League of Greensboro, and I loved building my skills and helping the community, and just learning so much. And then I went back and got my coaching certification, and I was doing career and retirement coaching, and I've recently shifted this year to being a mom coach, helping other mothers kind of manage their lives and unleash their best selves, which I really enjoy. I always joke that I have a hard time selling myself, but I sell people on themselves. I'm really enjoying this stage of life where everything seems to be coming together. You ever hit those points when it's just all dovetailing? I get to use my gifts and my skills and experience to help other people. And in answer to Winnie's question, who am I? I'm probably still the same in some ways that I was when I was 4, but I'm continuing to evolve. Thank you.